Okay, everyone, we have another special guest. We have Caleb, big film producer, film director. He's made some short films. He's also done a film festival in the middle of lockdown of all times, and it was a big success. But less from me, more from Caleb. How are you, Caleb?
I am doing great. I'm really happy to be here. Big fan of this whole process since I was a young kid. I started off with everybody looking on. I was one of you young ones, and now I'm on it. Now I'm the star.
Yeah. So, before we kind of go into talking about your short film, what you made, the festival, I want to ask you what was your motivation? What really got you into film production, and what were the standout probably TV or movies that you kind of go, hey, this is a bit of a benchmark for me, and this has kind of lifted my interest.
Well, I think I was at that stage of my life, I was like going through like year 10 and 11, where schools are like they're driving you, trying to be like, what are your careers? Like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And so many people struggle with that. And I was like everybody into films. You just watch them for the entertainment and stuff like that. And then I remember my grandmother was talking about films and everything like that. And then she mentioned this film, Lawrence of Arabia. And that is my favorite film of all time. But I was like, oh, yeah, all right. I sat down and watched it. It's 4 hours long, so it's a bit of a task. But I sat down and watched it and was like, wow. I was like, how did somebody in the 60s pull this off on this scale? And I looked at that and I was like, I want to make a movie on like that scale. That's what I want to do. It just like intrigued me so much of the process of getting from like start to finish to make something this grandiose. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I want to make movies for the rest of my life. It was plain and simple, big epiphany. It just happened. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to make films for the rest of my life. And ever since then, I've been super motivated to enjoy my life like that.
Yeah. Now, what was your first film that you made? Because
I was like after that big process, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start making films. I was during I think the end of year 12, I had a studio art project, and most of them, they do actual proper art installations and stuff like that. But I wanted to make a film, and I swindled my way around what was art and what would be accepted for my assignments and stuff like that. And I made a 10-minute short film. It was my first short film, as it's titled, and it was called Shift. And that was my first attempt, just completely in the deep end, not a clue what I was doing. And it was shot for about 3 days. It cost like $500 to make. And it was just a whole experience of making a small, short sci-fi film. It's kind of like Blade Runner. I think that was one of the biggest inspirations I had for when I was making it. But yeah, I just kind of threw myself in the deep end, had not a clue what I was doing, and it turned out quite half decent.
Oh, fantastic! And so, as a beginner, what sort of software were you using? What sort of equipment?
So I went on the glorious the Australian website Star Now, put my name out there, and I was like, hey, I need a cameraman. And I met a great DOP, Daniel Farley, he was studying at Deakin University. And he was like, hey, I'm a young guy. And I was like, hey, I'm a young guy. I've got no money. Like, no clue what I'm doing. And he was like, just went out on a limb. He's like, yeah, I'll shoot the film for you. Paid him a couple $100, and he helped me out. And that was it. The one thing that was a big draw is like, oh, I've just got a Blackmagic Ursa 4K. And I was like, oh, do you? Just in the back pocket. And I was like, that sounds great.
Wow.
And then I watched with him, and he taught me like the basics of Premiere Pro as a young kid. And I was like, wow, this is just really interesting. And I learned a lot from him of just the process that like a DOP goes through on a project. And yeah, I learned a lot of just like working with actors and stuff like that. All my base came from that first couple of days of shooting.
That's amazing that you were able to use that sort of equipment for your first film.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I was thinking, whack out the iPhone, put it on a tripod.
Yeah.
Let's get shooting. And he had a full kit and everything like that. And he was definitely being underpaid. And I'm sorry about that, Daniel. Definitely wasn't union regulated rates, but he definitely just came in with the big guns, and it was amazing to use that sort of gear straight away as one of my first films.
Now, when you were a little kid, did you make little films like with like a video camera or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah. There is some bad hidden unlisted videos on YouTube of my channel that will never be able to see the light of day ever again. There's countless little videos. I've got tins of Super 8 film here from
Oh,
when I was a little kid. I just
ah,
whacked it
I'm
out.
impressed because my first, when I was a little kid, Super 8. So
Yeah,
I
well,
was,
I didn't know what I was doing. I
yeah.
was wasting hundreds of dollars of Super 8 film pointing at stuff, and I had no clue what I was doing. Same with the old Kmart disposable cameras.
Mhm.
That was my first kind of experience with anything to do with film. It was just going outside, wasting that, and having fun with it. And
But that was your training ground.
yeah, it was. It was. I didn't know it then, but I was learning something and I was enjoying something. So I guess it turned out well. And now I'd love to shoot on film, but it's just too expensive.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe in 20, 25 years time, when you've got a big catalog of films behind you, there'll be a DVD release of a special edition with one of your movies, and then, oh, here's an extra of something he made when he was 10.
Yeah, there's I've got some good little snippets hidden away that one day they'll come back and bite me in the bum.
Now, the next film, the film that was connected with your film festival. So tell us about the film that you kind of finished. It was last year you finished it, wasn't it?
Yes, so I'd come off the back of shift, and I just I wasn't planning on going to university, and then somebody's like, no, just go to university, just get it done. Like the more you wait, like the longer your process is of going to school. And I was like, yeah, hop back into it. I love university. Deacon's great. That's where I go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just there, and I started writing this film, and I wanted to make a Western. I thought I'd get the same band I got back together with what I shot with on shift. And I thought, yeah, I had a farm. My grandfather owns a beautiful, like God knows how many acres farm up in Yea. And I thought, I've got this location. Might as well make a small little Western film. And I started writing in, I think, October 2019, and chugged along drafts, like put it down, picked it back up again, and then got to about November of 2020, and I met my producer on Grave, Amir Husidic, on just a train into the city, going out for dinner with friends. And he was like, he's a producer and he loves producing. And I was like, oh, I've got a film that I want to make. And he was like, all right, let's have a look at this. And then I was, talking over him with the project. I was like, I'm making a Western film. And I think our first meeting sat down, he's like, I was mentioning about horses. And he was like, how are we going to do that? And I'm like, oh, don't worry, got horses on the farm. Just hop on it, give it a ride, shoot it with the camera. We'll be right. And then little I know, all the way down the line, about 4 months later of pre-production, we were shooting with about 30 cast and crew, nearly 40 cast and crew of just caterers, everything. It all just came into a massive production. We all stayed on set for about 10 days straight, and wow. It was just a full-on chugging along train of making a short film. It ended up being nearly 40 minutes long, and it just turned out great. This big process of about 2 years now. Chugged along, and then we finished the film. We were all ready to go. We were planning to put it at MIF, and then of course we've known for the last 2 years the old COVID kind of put a big sting in things, and that's kind of where it sat for a little while. I got really down. I worked my bum off for this entire project, and a lot of people on this film were really looking forward to it. So many people went out on a limb just to come up. Even our lead actors, Jeffrey Richards, didn't expect him to just come onto this project and be up here. He was an absolute gun on set. And yeah, eventually we couldn't really find an avenue to make the film, or an avenue to show off the film and distribute it. And so I created the First Chance Film Festival. I thought, nobody wants to just come and see my film Grave. I'm not that big yet. And I thought that through me funding a whole cinema experience for people to watch my film, I thought, let's try and find some other student filmmakers, especially in COVID times and stuff like that, to have an opportunity to show off their films. and get that first chance of showing their projects off. And then I thought, oh, well, I'll band together a bunch of my friends and colleagues to try and start making a film festival that hopefully will go on for years and years, that really targets student filmmakers and helps them show off their films. And then, 6-7 months later, in March this year, we had the first year of the First Chance Film Festival. We showed off 5 great short films from a bunch of great and upcoming directors who really got affected by COVID, and some people just never got to distribute their films because it's just how it is. You finish a film and that's it. You kind of sit it in your pocket, up on YouTube it goes, and poof, it's gone into the abyss of all the thousands of other short films. So I thought, people want that experience. They want to see their film on the big screen.
Yes.
So yeah, we did that and it went absolutely great. We were really happy with it and we're looking forward to the next year.
Yeah, fantastic. And you haven't said what the name of the movie was.
Oh yeah, it's right behind me. But it's Grave. It's a 36-minute long short Western film that spans across the whole outback of Yea. It was a grueling shoot, like I said, of about 10 days, and it was a brilliant experience. It was really interesting doing a genre piece. I didn't do it. It was Shift, my first film, and then Grave. There was no just let's experiment, let's try and work on my skills. It's like, nah, I'm going even deeper in the deep end. And that, I think, really improved all my skills as a director and stuff like that. And I learned a lot of behind the scenes knowledge about producing and stuff like that, which really made me even look more forward to the craft as itself and future projects and just working in the industry more.
So when you were making Grave, were you ever kicking yourself while you're watching it going, I'm making a movie?
I think I had a really weird experience with, she's now my wife, Hayley Myers, and I was talking to her on the phone each night. She was like, you're doing great. She was trying to pep talk me out, making sure I'm not freaking out. And I was just like, I just don't feel anything. Yeah. I'm just I'm at work, but I'm really enjoying it. And it didn't set in. I was always trying to make sure everybody's having a great time and doing it. And I just kind of sat there and we were all just going through the machine of making a film. And it didn't hit me till I think really late in the shoots, 6 or 7 days into shooting. I was like, wow, I'm waking up, getting to do what I love. We're all living on set, wake up, breakfast ready. Oh, we're shooting a couple, let's get ready for this shot. The camera crews go up, they're setting up. I'm working with actors. Just, like I said, the machine just keeps on cogging along. And there was a few moments where I took a breather and I was like, I still can't believe I'm actually doing this. Because I was the youngest on set. I was 18 when I made this film. And I've got a lead that's nearly in his 50s, I think. I'm sorry, Jeffrey, if you're not in your 50s, but everybody was older than me. And it's a weird feeling being I'm the boss of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm telling everybody what to do. I'm making sure my vision's getting put out there. And I was just, I think there was a few moments where I was like, this all rides on me and the producer putting our best efforts in.
Yeah. Now, when you did
turned out well.
Yeah, when you did the film festival and you showed it the first time on the big screen in the cinemas, were you nervous watching it with a large audience?
Yeah. Gut-wrenchingly nervous because, again, I've seen the film about 200, 300, 400 times. Every inkling to edit, every different take, everything that's in the background, everything that might be a small mistake, and that's all I see. Yeah. And I never get to experience the film as everybody else does. Experiences is could use a different lens on that. That would have looked better. Or maybe if I went for another take, maybe we could have used something different. Or I have notes on the scene. I'm being like, oh, come on, Caleb, you could have done better. Because I've been sitting on the film for such a long time, and I think I've improved as a filmmaker, knowledge-wise, and just my own craft of how I approach a scene, so much more. So I'm looking at work that I did a year and a half ago or more. So I'm like, come on, Caleb, you're better than this. Yeah. I'd seen it about, even in the cinemas. It wasn't the first time I'd seen it at Village Cinemas. I'd done so many test screenings, but yeah, I was always nervous. I was sitting there, I didn't move an inch. I was staring dead at the screen for the full 36 minutes. And then when the credits rolls, I was like, oh, it's done. I don't have to see it again.
Yeah.
That is it. And we can finally move on. Because I couldn't move on to another project. I was stuck with it until I could release it. So I just didn't want to abandon the project completely because there was just too much effort. Everybody, the cast, crew, every little person that wanted to see the film made.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And good on you for doing that, and also having I remember when you were saying, "Oh, I'm going to do a film festival," and everything else, and there was the talk of lockdowns and all this sort of stuff, and I was like, I hope he gets to do it. But yeah, it's very clever of you to try and do that, and also get it shown on screen, because so many people that they make films and no one ever actually gets to see them, or they're hoping to get even if it's a short film, get a special release, but it's sitting on a shelf somewhere for years.
Yeah, and I think
or it gets put out
really
there,
weird.
And unfortunately, it's at the same time as a billion other things, and it just gets lost.
Yeah, well, that's what we did with the First Chance Film Festival. It's like people like send it to MIF or the St Kilda Festival or any other festivals, and then they sit there and just wait. And like obviously, like each year, like those set of film festivals, and they have specific ideas and films they're looking forward to. But I want to find the people that you're never gonna get to see. I want to see the people like me, it would make people feel amazing to see their films on the screen and have a whole actual audience of completely random people view your project. And I think that I was looking for the people that sit on their projects and go, no, it's not good enough. I said, that's what I want. I want people to submit it and enjoy it and just put it out there, because you never know who's actually going to see it. And I think that when me and the extensive team of First Chance Film Festival, when we were like reviewing all the projects and stuff like that, we were looking for things that we hadn't seen before, and we listened to the stories and the backstories of the directors and how they got these projects made. And we take that into account instead of, like this film was funded $10,000 by this university to make this 6-minute short film. It's like, we're looking for the people that went, I got a camera, I went up to a farm for like 10 days and I made this. Yeah. And I tried my best, and that's all I can give is my best at this moment. And that's that's how I feel. And if somebody thinks my film's good, then I'm like, yep, that makes me feel amazing. Mm-hmm. And then these people seeing their films on the big screen at Village, they go, I did it. I got people to see my film. It's and they can feel also a sense of like closure for their projects when they're all done.
Yeah. And what do you kind of think now when you look back that, okay, at this point in time, you didn't really know this. You didn't really know this knowledge. And now after doing, your first film and then your second one on a much greater scale and seeing it on the big screen, what is it that you know now that you didn't really know ages ago from the experience that kind of changed you or made you think differently?
I think there's a few big moments and things that kind of influenced me on going into bigger projects, because of course, Grave went from a very short film to a feature-length film, back to a short film, and then like a quite long short film. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is producers are amazing people. They're just organizational kings. And I didn't actually understand or fathom how much work they put in and effort they put into projects. And I also I think, like as a director, there's so much that goes into a project, so many different sets of people and teams to just make even this. There was so many people attached and helping with the film, that like having that helping hand and learning what other areas actually focus on and having that team oriented effort, like just widened me up to so much more work that's actually done. And I think learning what the producer does on set just opened my eyes to like the extra work that needed to be put in. And I think learning from what my producer Amir did, like that makes me want to produce films. It makes me want to be that person that's like, nah, don't worry, I will help you with this to get your project made. Because that's what he did for me. He was like, he went out on a limb and he was like, yeah, I like the sound of this. And he helped me get it made. And I was like, oh, when he'd be like, have we done this? Have we done this? Have we done that? And I'd be like, yeah, I didn't know that was a thing we'd have to be doing. And he'd be like, yeah, well, it's something we need to focus on. I'd be like, oh, yeah. And just learning those different aspects of filmmaking, I was like, there is such a wider world that still is to be explored with the art of filmmaking.
So what's next?
Well, nothing much until I think the end of the year. I'm currently producing a short film titled Lucid by Chase Bowman. So she's got me on producing. So I'm taking a bigger shot. I've taken the kind of step back from directing at this moment in time, I want to try and improve my skills as a producer. So when I'm preparing films to pitch and actually start to go in production, I can hand it off to a producer that it's like, oh, okay, he's actually putting the effort in, rather than just being a director being like, I've got a script, I've got an idea. There you go. Enjoy, help me. I'm trying to prepare everything more advanced to try and have a smoother production. I've got a short film hopefully going into production called The Talk Show Host sometime at the end of this year. Otherwise, it'll move over into 2021. And that will hopefully come out sometime. I'll probably hopefully try and get it done before the next year, the First Chance Film Festival. Otherwise, I'll just keep on working on it. And then after that, there's no more short films for me. That'll be my last short film. And I'll be going off to make a feature film titled The Fabulous Tale of Mr. Light. Okay. So that's my big project that will take a few years, I'd say 2-3 years to fully flesh out and finally get into production. But I've got my timeline all planned out. So just working now, making sure everything's all good.
Now, this is one thing I like to ask a lot of people is that it must be satisfying to think that you have long-term goals or things that you're looking at going, like you already said, you're talking a few years into the future. A lot of people don't. And I always talk about this, especially with mental health, is that with a lot of people, they don't think of they don't have things that they invest in or investing in themselves to look at maybe what they're going to do the next day. But how do you feel? Like, does it feel good that you're knowing that, hey, I've got all these things lined up and another goal for a feature film could be 3 or 4 years away? Like, you think about like, wow, my next couple of years, I'm busy.
Yeah, I do think that I'm busy, but I think that if I just sit here waiting for things to happen, it's not going to happen. I said this in the interviews we did for First Chance, and I say it to a lot of people because, well, not many people are going, oh, I wonder what Caleb Keyte thinks about my project. But people come up to me and go, like, how did you do it? I said, I just winged it. I just went out there and did it. I don't care if people go, oh, that wasn't that good of a film. I'm not gonna, like, if I don't do it, I don't know what's gonna happen. And as I know it's a thing that so many people hate hearing. I hate hearing it. When I was sitting there, watch that YouTube videos, like how to get your short film made or how to get a film made. And they go, just go out there and do it. It's so annoying to hear, but it's so true.
Yes.
Go out there, you get your camera and just go and do it. It doesn't matter if it's an idea that you believe in and you get people together who are on the same wavelength with you. Just go and do it and have fun. You can't make a mistake. If you like it, then that's all that matters. It's what it matters to you rather than everybody else. You don't need to think about what other people's perceptions of your works are. If you're enjoying what you're doing and the craft that you have, then that's the best thing you can do as a person in this workforce. And I think looking ahead for my projects, like, I don't know how those are going to go. I don't know how the talk show host is going to turn out. Like, I've got this fully fledged scripted idea in my head waiting to go into production. But the fact is, anything can happen. Same with down the line I could make the talk show host, and then out of nowhere, Screen Australia comes up to me and gives me a couple of $1 million to make The Fabulous Tale of Mr. Light. Or I could use and save the possible, like, about $30,000 I think I need for the film and just do it myself and try my best and see how it turns out. It's anything can happen, and if you just have an idea that you want to do, you might as well just go out there and do it and just enjoy the time. And I think having that sort of outlook with other people really motivates other people. I think like being around people like, yeah, let's just do it. It's, yeah, like you said, it's great for your mental health. It makes you feel good in the end. And yeah, it's stressful, but as long as you're having fun, it'll be grouse.
Yeah, and also you meet a lot of other interesting people that you probably would never have met before.
Yeah, I've meet hundreds of people on a daily basis that you never know you could run into and be like, this person does this. Like I said, when I met my producer for Grave, sitting on a tram, we were going out for drinks. I knew about him. He was a friend in our Facebook group, and we were all just talking. We'll go out for dinner. Was talking to him, and then out of nowhere, I didn't know that 4 or 5 months later, we'd be knee deep in the blistering 40-degree sun and the mud and everything. It was raining. It was nice and sunny, and we'd be making Grave. Like I didn't think it'd turn around and be like that quickly, but it just happens like that.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you very much for your time and sharing so much. It's really appreciated, and I think a lot of people who are going to be watching this are really going to appreciate it. Now, for those of you who are watching the TGF stream, we're going to have all of Caleb's information in the chat on Twitch and also on the TGF Facebook page when this airs during TGF 2021 virtual. If you're watching this months later on YouTube here on Cause and Effect Gamers, all the descriptions on Caleb's social media and also links to the movie will be down below. So I want everyone to check it out, because I actually had planned to, I saw that you said you posted it on YouTube the other day, and I was planning to actually watch it straight after TGF. So I'll be very interested in seeing that. So for everyone else, if you haven't seen the movie, and the movie is
Grave, the second short film from Caleb Keyte.
Yeah, there you go.
We totally planned that. I think the timing was perfect for that.
Go check it out. From what I've seen of stills and also the trailer, it looks absolutely magnificent. Once again, on behalf of TGF, the TGF Festival and Cause and Effect Gamers, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time.
And actually, one more thing. If you see the amazing poster art is done by yours truly, Andrew Owen. We pestered him for months to get this made. We've got it's a beautiful oil pastel, all the fun arts things that I don't know about because I can't draw. He created this wonderful art piece for us for our poster that now it's glorified in my second film.
There you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But this is all about. All right then. Thank you very much.
Too easy.